Good morning, children. Let us begin our day. Today is Thursday, 4th March 2021, and the thought for the day is a grateful heart is a magnet for miracles. In short, good things always happen to good people. And in our next chapter, we will see two characters which have totally opposite characteristics. So next chapter is a wonderful poem. We are starting with unit 4, chapter number 28, the elf singing, which is written by a wonderful poet, William Allingham. And we have two characters. Two characters are depicted by the poet. The first one is elf and a wizard. An elf is an imaginary small person with pointed ears and who has magical powers. Wizard is also a man who is believed to have magical powers. So it is an exceptional poem about the life of elf. And this poem, let me tell you one thing, this poem was published in 1850. So in this poem, two characters, the elf and wizard, are described. The poet starts the poem by explaining how the elf is sitting on a twig, and then the poet tells elf to take care of himself in the following stanzas. Let me tell you one thing. The elf is portrayed as a character that is full of life, full of happiness and joy, whereas the wizard is portrayed as having feelings of hatred and anger. And even in the next stanzas you will see, whenever the wizard is changing its shape, all the characters are full of fear. The characters in which he changes himself are dreadful, fearful. So let us see what the poet wants to convey us from the poem. So be ready with page number 66. It's chapter number 28, poem The Elf Singing. Let us see the first stanza. An elf sat on a twig. He was not very big. He sang a little song. He did not think it wrong. But he was on a wizard's ground, who hated all sweet sound. Elf, elf, take care of yourself. He's coming behind you to seize you and bind you and stifle your song. Now, as I have told you, it starts with the description of elf and as to what the elf is doing. Elf is sitting on a small twig. Twig is a very thin stem of wood that grows from a branch of a tree. Let me tell you again, twig is a very small and thin stem of wood that grows from the branch of a tree. And how the elf could sit? Because he was very tiny, he was very small. That is why he could sit on that twig. And he was singing a sweet song because he thought that sweet singing is always good. People like the songs that are melodious, that are sweet. But he did not know that the area or the territory where he was located belongs to a wizard, and wizard did not like any good sound. This wizard hated all sweet sound. In short, you can say wizard was such a bad character that he did not like any good thing, and elf is portraying a good character, singing sweetly. And the poem warns elf to take care of himself because the wizard is coming behind. He is coming behind you to seize you. That is, the wizard wants to hold the elf. He wants to take hold of the elf and he wants to stifle elf's song. That is, he wants to stop his song. Why? Because the wizard hated all the good things. Third stanza. Let me adjust. The wizard, he changes his shape in crawling along, an ugly old ape, a poisonous lizard. Wizard and lizard are rhyming word, shape and ape are rhyming word. So the wizard is following the elf. He has changed his shape and he has converted himself into a ugly old ape, as you can see in the picture. So the wizard is changing the shape. He has changed into a ape, and then the wizard changes itself into a poisonous lizard. You can see a big poisonous lizard. A spotted spider, a wormy glider, the wizard, he's up on the bough. He will bite through your gizzard, he's close to you now. The wizard has changed his shape into a wormy glider. Wormy glider you can describe as a worm or a flying creature. Glider is a flying creature, and wormy glider sort of a worm which can fly. The wizard, he's up on the bough. Bough is the main branch of a tree. Now he's sitting on the main branch of the tree, and he's planning to bite through the gizzard. Gizzard is a part of the stomach, and he's very close to you now. Who is saying this? Who is giving this safety precautions to the elf? It is as if the poet is imagining that the events are happening in front of his eyes, so he is very worried about the elf, and he is giving safety precautions and instruction to elf that please take care of yourself. Let us see from the first paragraph. So the elf was sitting on a twig, very small branch, not very big. Twig and twig are rhyming, song and wrong are rhyming words, ground and sound are rhyming words. So the elf is sitting on a very small branch, singing sweetly, but as the territory belonged to wizard, who did not like any good things to happen, so he is following the elf. What the wizard wants to do? He wants to take hold of the elf, and he wants to stop the song, or you can say he wants to stop the good things that are happening. Now the wizard has changed his shape into an ape, and then he changed into a poisonous lizard, and now he has changed his shape into a spider, and then a glider. Glider is a flying insect, and now he is sitting on the bough. That is the main branch of the tree, and he wants to bite through the stomach, that is the gizzard. Next paragraph. A worm The elf went on with his song. It grew more clear and strong. It lifted him into air. He floated singing away with rainbows in his hair. See how nicely the poet has described the things. The elf is unaware of all these things that are happening. He does not even know that there is a wizard who is following him. Like the good people, they continue doing good things without noticing the people who try to disturb them or the people who try to do bad things. That is the speciality of the people who do nice things. So now the elf has continued with his song. His song grew clearer and stronger, and it lifted him in the air. He started flying, and rainbows in his hair means he is up in the sky, he is above all the bad things, and he is flying high in the sky with rainbows. How can the rainbow in his hair? That is, he is up in the sky. That the poet wants to convey us, that he is continuing to do the good thing. What was the good thing he was doing? He was singing sweet melodious song, and we all know that melodious sound, melodious songs and melodious music pleases us, isn't it? Last paragraph. My mistake, last stanza. While the wizard worm from his grip made a sudden leap. Wizard worm, that is, the wizard has now changed into a worm. It was already a worm, as we have seen in the last stanza. He has changed itself into that wormy glider that was a worm. and he wanted to bite. That is why he had become a worm, and now he was bit small in size. You must have seen those worms, they are not very big. So this worm, wizard worm, from his creep, that is taking a quick step, the place where he was creeping. You must have seen the worm, na? They creep. So he made a sudden leap because he wanted to bite the gizzard, he wanted to bite the stomach. And while he took the leap, while he jumped, you can say what happened. He fell down into a hole, and his magic word he could say was eaten up by a mole. Now the small worm he was creeping, and when he took a sudden leap, when he took a sudden jump, what happened? He was not aware of the hole and he fell down. And before you change the shape, that is before he could say his magic word, abracadabra sort of magical word, he was eaten up by a mole. So before he could utter his magical words, the mole, these creatures, they feed on insects. So the mole was very happy to eat the wizard up. So what happened at the end? The wizard, he was a worm, he was creeping, and before he made a sudden leap, and before he could do anything, he fell down in a hole, and before he could utter his magical words, he was eaten up by a mole. You can see this mole in the slide. Let me tell you what are moles. Moles are small mammals. They have cylindrical bodies, the fur is velvety, and they are very small, inconspicuous ears and eyes. But you can look at the paws. You can hardly see their eyes and ears, but you can see the paws. They are very large because they require for digging. They dig the soil. So what happened in the end? The wicked wizard changed so many shapes: ape, then poisonous lizard, spotted spider, vermiglider, but all the plans were unsuccessful. He was not successful in his wicked plans of seizing the elf and stopping his song. Now the elf has lifted himself, that is, he was far away from all the bad things, and the wicked creature, the wizard, while he was still a worm, he fell down in a hole, and before he could say his magic and retain his original shape, he was finally eaten up by a mole. So such things always happen, good things to good people, and the people who do bad things, they always get a lesson, they get a punishment. So again and again I want to convey you, be a good person, be a good thing. That is what the even poet wants to convey us, that what happened to a good creature elf and what happened to the wicked creature the wizard. I hope you must have enjoyed the poem. So please recite it at home, and whatever exercise I am sending you, write it down, and you have complete week to complete your pending exercises. I hope you have finished Dreadful Guest. So today you can start with elf singing. If not, complete the previous chapters and start writing, recite the poem and complete everything that I gave you. So this is all for today. I hope you have enjoyed this poem. Let us meet again in the next week. Stay safe. Take care. Thank you.